Hi guys, and welcome to my March roundup. It's just a pretty quick video today because I've already done my haul and everything, which I know last month I did within this roundup video, but I'll leave links down below to my March haul, and also I did like a little mini haul thing because I only had like 4 extra books to like top up that haul, so I did another little video to separate it from this one. But both links will be in the description. This month I set myself a challenge of reading 3 books, which were The Fifth Wave, How We Are Hungry and We. I currently, as of today, which is the 29th of March, I have read 2 of those books and I am a good way through the 3rd. However, a few extra books crept onto my TBR list. So this month I read How We Are Hungry by Dave Eggers. I reviewed this on my Tumblr page and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's a short story collection based on people and how they want different things, and there are a lot of different stories in this, some of which I would recommend people to read, others I was kind of bored through, so it's a bit of a mixed bag, this one, but it was worth the time. And this is the 2nd book in my books I should have read at university project that I have finished, so that's 2 out of 8 for that now, so I'm quite proud of that. The next book I read in March was The Fifth Wave by Yancey. This is a sci-fi book about alien invasion. It's a YA dystopian post-apocalyptic sci-fi. I really suck at genres. I did do a review on this one, but it is on my old sucky camera, so I will put a link to that somewhere and you can go and watch that review if you want. There's also a review on my Tumblr page, as always, that link's in the description. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars because there were some parts of the writing style that irked me, but it was thoroughly enjoyable. I absolutely loved it. The next book I read in March was The Archived by Victoria Schwab, and I recently reviewed this one, so again you can go and watch a review for that one, which is on my nice new camera. This was thoroughly enjoyable, sort of paranormal mystery novel centering around a really interesting world that has a library full of dead bodies, technically, which all retain the memories and experiences of those bodies' previous lives, and it's a very interesting concept. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars because there were some issues with pacing. I loved it so much in the first half that I feel like it let me down in the second half, and that's why I think I was probably a bit harsh with my rating. The next book I read in March was Saga by Bryan K. Vaughan, and I have done a review of this. I just don't know whether I've posted it yet. I've thoroughly enjoyed this one. This was 4 out of 5 stars from me. It's a sci-fi graphic novel which kind of has a Romeo and Juliet vibe, about 2 lovers from 2 different sides of an intergalactic war, and it basically follows them through the birth of their newborn baby, and as the list of people who want to kill the 3 of them just seems to be ever growing. So it's really interesting, really fast paced. Warning, there is a lot of sex in it, so and like sexual ideas, but yeah, I really enjoyed it and I can't wait to read the next one. I'm just holding off buying the next volumes at the moment. Next book I'm currently reading and will most likely be finished very soon is Half Bad. I don't have the dust jacket. Half Bad by Sally Green, and I'm really enjoying this at the moment. It's about witches. It's about this young boy called Nathan who is half white witch, half black witch, and it's set in England, which I like. Also, it's got a really interesting writing style at the moment, and the chapter styles, and it's just very interestingly written at the moment. So I'm really enjoying it at the moment. And the other book I'm still reading, but I don't think I will be finished in March, so this will be a little bit of a letdown for my March TBR, is We by Yevgeny Zamyatin. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm enjoying this book. I'm finding it a little difficult to get into. I think that's mostly because of it being translated. It's a dystopian novel, but the protagonist is completely and utterly happy with the situation. Like, he doesn't even second guess anything, which I find difficult, and things are happening which maybe he might start second guessing things, I'm not sure. It's not the easiest book in the world, which is not a problem at all, but I think, I don't know, I'm enjoying it, but because it's a bit more difficult than the other books I have on my TBR, I've kind of leaned towards those recently, and I've neglected it a little bit. But as soon as I finish Half Bad, I will pick this back up again, and I very much doubt I will get it done by Monday, but there is always hope. I'm sure I will let you guys know, but this will be what lets me down for my March TBR, I think. On to April. Obviously the first book that I will be finishing will be We. My April TBR this month is kind of bigger than last month, because I've shown myself that I can do a lot more than I anticipated, even with both my jobs and with a lot of problems at home. The first book I want to read, and I'm really excited to read, is Steelheart by Bryan Sanderson. This I bought recently and it has jumped straight to the top of my TBR pile. This is basically about superheroes, and they are called epics, and they are intent on gaining power over the non-superheroes, and there is a band of assassins called the Reckoners, and they aim to study and assassinate the epics, and you follow one man who, or boy, can't remember how old he is, but he, one of the epics killed his dad, and this epic is called Steelheart, and Steelheart is supposed to be invincible, but he knows that Steelheart can bleed, and if Steelheart can bleed, he can die. It has been really difficult not to put down everything I am reading at the moment and just jump into this one, because I'm such a big superhero nerd. The second book I'm going to read in April is The Final Empire by Bryan Sanderson, and this was going to be the first book I read in April, but Steelheart kind of stole that. It's about superheroes, you can't blame me. It's just a fantasy world where there are people called Mistings who can control metals, and each metal does a different thing, and if you control more than one metal you are called a Mistborn, and this is part of the Mistborn trilogy, and it's kind of epic fantasy, I think, and it's like there's like a dark overlord ruler thing. I don't know that much about it, but I know everyone's raving about it and it sounds like something I would really enjoy. And the cover's gorgeous. The third book I will be reading in April is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I can't believe I haven't read it. It's all about like this just dystopian world where books are burnt. That's pretty much all I know about it, that you like follow someone who is like the book burner dude. So the fourth book I will be reading in April is Angel Fall by Susan E, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. Oddly enough, after I bought the book, I hadn't heard anything about it before I bought it, and then heard a lot of good things about it quite recently afterwards. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this one. It's a post-apocalyptic, like post-Angels apocalyptic novel, like angels have taken over and they're kind of douchebags as far as I know, which it sounds really interesting, and the protagonist is such an interesting name, Penryn. That sounds like Arthurian, and it's like just really cool and I like it, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm thinking it will probably be a really light, easy read. I've mentioned this I think a couple of times now, or that might be a spoiler into my Top 5 Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be posting this before my Top 5 Wednesday, won't I? Scheduling videos is really hard not to like re-mention things, and when you're trying to like talk about things that you know you've filmed but you haven't posted by the time this will be posted. Oh, it's so difficult. The fifth book I will be reading in April, Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. This is a story about Lincoln, but he basically reads the emails that are passed through this office building. There are two girls that are like sending each other emails, and he falls in love with one of them. I think it might be kind of creepy actually. It's a bit weird. The final book, as long as I get to it, that I will be reading in April, is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. And Chris will be happy with this one because this will be my first Stephen King novel. This is about a young boy whose mum is dying, I think, and he has to go and try and find a talisman that will save her. It's a bit of a chunk, so yeah, I've got quite a few chunky books in this one, so hopefully I will get around to this one and hopefully I will actually finish it in April. I am being very ambitious with my April TBR. So that's everything from me. That's all the books that I read in March. I will be reading those books in April. If you've read any of those, please let me know and let me know what you thought about them. And if you have read any of the ones that I did read in March, let me know what you thought of those ones as well. And I would love to have a discussion with you about them. I also have a small announcement. Basically, I really want to read Infinite Jest. I am so wanting to read Infinite Jest right now, like majorly. I really want to read Infinite Jest. And the thing is, it's a really big book. There is a lot of pages in this book and a lot of things to get through. There are loads of footnotes and loads of things you need to understand when you're reading it. So I was thinking I would really love to buddy read it with maybe 1 or 2 or however many people want to read it. I was planning on reading this in May, but I'm thinking of giving myself 2 months to read it alongside whatever else I'm reading, to give myself a good chance at understanding absolutely everything within the novel. And I would absolutely love it if anyone else wants to join in with me. So it will be through May and June I will be reading Infinite Jest. It works out roughly like 30 pages a day, but this is going to be really dense pages, so I'd love to have you be part of it. And if I'm doing it by myself, that's fine, but I just think being able to have a discussion throughout the novel would be really helpful for me in general, and that might be helpful for other people who want to read it as well. So anyone wants to read Infinite Jest within May and June this year, please let me know. I gave this 5 out of 5. No, I didn't. That's a lie. It is my first April. No, I said March, didn't I?